Thank you for joining us today for Veterans in Tech. And it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Chuck McGregor. He's the Vice President of Military and Veteran Affairs at the Parsons Corporation. Chuck served 24 years in the United States Marine Corps Reserve in logistics, infantry, and advising roles with 4 deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, all while an employee of Parsons. Chuck has been with Parsons for 23 years with progressive roles, culminating as a business unit CIO and the corporate director of cybersecurity. Following his final USMC deployment in 2019, Chuck had spearheaded the formation of the Parsons Military and Veteran Affairs Program, focused on internal and external outreach, best-in-class veteran benefits, engagement programs, and underserved veteran support organizations, which I really like, Chuck. For more information on the Parsons Mil Vet program, please visit parsons.com/military. Thank you for being here with us, Chuck. Take it away.
All right, great. Thanks. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Looks good. All right. Well, hey, last night I was thinking about what would be the best thing to talk about in this session. And by the way, thank you so much for having me. I'm really impressed with the lineup and the construct that we've got here with Meritorious. And thank you so much for listening to me. But what I figured I was going to do is not tell you what you want to hear. I want to tell you what you need to hear. And this comes from, being in the recruiting business now for 2.5 years after coming back from Afghanistan in 2019 and with Task Force Helmand. And I asked, hey, when are we going to put together a stronger military veteran program at Parsons? And no good suggestion goes unpunished. And I was asked to lead that effort, and it's been a blessing ever since. But one of the hardest parts of this role is seeing continuous mistakes that we veterans are making time and time again when it comes to our approach to the business sector. So I'm just going to get right into it. So if this is your first networking event and you're getting out in 9 months, you're behind the curve. You need to be digging your well before you're thirsty and leaning into your networking opportunities just like this, usually about a year out. And you need to have an idea of the landscape at that point as well. So it takes time to do that. And so you really need to do what we called in the military intelligence preparation of the battlefield, right? It was, knowing the opportunities, doing a SWOT analysis on yourself, seeing where your strengths are, where you're weak, what opportunities that you have to take advantage of, and what are the things that are definitely going to be obstacles in getting to the next level in your career in the civilian division. So if you're right now, your network is probably too militarily heavy. So you need to focus on understanding the strength of your network. In particular, there are 3 types of people that are out there. There are bridgers, there are influencers, and there are decision makers. And you need to be able to look at your network and figure out who these people are. Bridgers are people who can introduce you to decision makers. These are probably the busier folks that are in your network, the ones that are looking to help others connect and network with other individuals. Not unlike what we're doing right here. So identifying who those bridgers are and feeding them good information about yourself, making a connection with them, and helping them help you. Influencers are people who are out there that are shaping the environment that we're trying to successfully navigate into. And then the decision makers are the actual people that are hiring managers. They're the ones that have the P&L. They are the ones that have the department that's looking to hire. So knowing who your bridgers, influencers, and decision makers are is key. Right now, if your social media activity will get you eliminated. We see veterans, they're outspoken in social media. Don't clean that up before they start farming themselves out. and people are taking the time to see what kind of social media presence that you have, and we will eliminate people if they are too outspoken, too political, too religious. We're looking for people who are focused and professional on their career, and are passionate and professionally curious. That's what social media, when you're on the transition, is for. So keep it that way. Email blasts are a turnoff. Don't be lazy. So recruiters have quotas, so don't waste their time. Make it easy for them. Come to us with roles already identified. Hey, I've looked at this role. It's R47325. Here's the link to it. Here's why I'm qualified for it. Here's my resume. I've customized it for this opportunity specifically. Go with that to the recruiters with as much information to show that you've done your homework as possible. It is a huge benefit to do this. And don't save your resume as resume. Be descriptive in your resume. Put your name in it. Put the top specialty that you're trying to farm out. The best thing that makes you attractive for this role and that differentiates you. That's a very key thing that many people overlook. And a recruiter is going to have to resave. If they're going to push your resume around, they're going to have to, or save it on their drive. If they don't have a sophisticated candidate relationship management tool, they're going to have to rename it. Otherwise, it's just going to get lost in the sauce. Make it easy for the recruiters. Your assumption that people understand your experience is wrong. You have to know how to translate your experience. And that means you also need to know who your audience is and who you're working with and what is motivating them to talk to you. So again, it all circles back to doing your homework. But don't assume that just because someone is a military recruiter that they're going to understand what your MOS is and how it translates to the civilian sector. Many will. The very experienced ones will, but make their job as easy as possible and know how to sell yourself and have your elevator pitch ready. Certifications matter and will open doors. It's just the truth. You've got a lot of hands-on experience. I did as well. I had no certifications, and it hurt me. I'll tell you that certifications, last year there was a lot of talk about certifications or experience in lieu of degrees and certifications, and that people are going to be honoring those and here's the truth. They're going to look for the certifications, and if you got them, you're going to have front of the line privileges, okay, compared to a vet who doesn't have them. So if you've got the time and you're a year out, take the time to advance your clearance as far as you can, but also take advantage of the different certification programs that are out there, and take advantage of the free certification programs that are out there, especially like AWS Cloud Practitioner. You can get that certification online on AWS for free, and all the materials are there for you. I say to the bold go the spoils. Ask for informational interviews. Have the gumption and the self-confidence to ask for an informational interview with somebody when you're trying to get into that field. Say, hey, sir, I'd really like an opportunity to meet with you. I'm trying to learn more about risk and compliance, and I really appreciate being connected to you. Can I have 30 minutes of your time to just understand your company in this field a little bit better as I'm making this transition and where I should be focusing? Those types of interviews I've sat on here recently, and they're a priority for me. And by the way, good companies will help set up those informational interviews for you as well, but you have to ask, all right? And if you've got a really good champion military veteran recruiter who's going to be aggressive about it and help you, they can help facilitate that for you, but you have to ask. And the last thing I wanted to say of what you need to hear is overconfidence versus humility. Specifically, it's one thing to go into a meeting and have poise and confidence. But it's another thing to have poise and confidence and also humility. Don't assume, I'm just going to say it. Don't assume that your stuff doesn't stink. You have to go in with humility, with open ears, and make sure that that the people you're talking to understand that you're trying to listen to them and you're interviewing them as well, and that you're trying to position yourself to be as attractive as possible for this opportunity. So that takes listening and it takes humility, and a little bit of humility in meetings is not a bad thing. Maybe it was in the military, but I'm telling you, out here on the outside, someone who comes in who's boisterous and is overconfident and is obnoxious is going to get shut down really quick, as opposed to someone who's got humility and confidence and such. So that's what I feel like you need to hear. I'm looking forward to talking to you. Lindsay, George, our Mill Vet coordinator is in the meeting, is on our table as well. And I really appreciate your time. I hope this was what you needed to hear.
Excellent. Thank you, Chuck. Breaking hearts, telling truth. So thank you so much for that. Your piece on the pre-certification programs is great advice. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your expertise today. A round of applause. Let's get those emojis on the screen for Chuck. And of course, you can drop into the Parsons table to connect with him and his team. Parsons is an outstanding company if you don't know them.